a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve, Ramon, and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast.
BrainShare Business Mentors proudly presents BrainShare.us, the ultimate business education platform, delivering the proven systems, processes, tools, and knowledge that empower you to build the business of your dreams. With 13 high-powered courses encompassing over 240 lessons accessed online on your schedule. Running a business is the hardest thing you'll ever do. We've helped thousands of business owners gain the leadership, communication, and business skills needed to build the business of their dreams. We can help you. Choose your learning path. Scuba Squad is the premier membership program for today's business leaders with access to all BrainShare material and double our money-back guarantee. BrainShare Basics, the ultimate business framework course, a hard-hitting 13-week program to lay the necessary foundation to build the business of your dreams. Or take individual courses as you need them. Every course has dozens of lessons, with video, practical exercises, precise documentation, and the opportunity for direct feedback from a BrainShare mentor. All programs have our exclusive 30-day money-back guarantee. No questions asked, don't wait. Choose your path and start today.
Welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. Doing business in life with a purpose, serving others and achieving success. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. We created this show for you, the audience, because we want everyone out there to be motivated, inspired, and educated to learn how to do business, but I think more importantly, live life to make an impact in the world. While you're listening to my incredible guests today, I want you to think about who you're going to serve today and what impact you're going to create today. Small, medium, large, doesn't matter, but go ahead and make that impact. And as I say, speaking of impact, I've just met Andrew. We were talking in the green room. Behavioral health, mental health, let's just use that word because everybody knows that, is a massive problem right now. COVID started, recession, we go on and on. There's a litany of stuff that caused, bringing mental health in. He has got the secret sauce for this, and I'm excited to share it with you. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Great to be here. Appreciate the time.
Your focus, your thoughts on mental health as it is standing right now.
I mean, today more than ever, it doesn't matter how old you are, your socioeconomic status, where you come from, where you're going, everybody is battling something. And so, we're grateful. I'm grateful that we're in a time where people can talk about it, where there's resources. The challenge now is deciphering which resources are right for you, what makes sense for you. You have the old school, which still works, where there are certain people that need medication. And there are other people that are anti-medication, and there's everything in between. And so one of the things that we decided early on in Recovery Unplugged was we meet people where they're at. And though we use music as a catalyst for therapy, for both addiction and mental health, and have done that successfully for over a decade, we also believe in MAT, both music-assisted treatment and medication-assisted treatment. So the state of my view with mental health and addiction today is both of them work. Some people need certain medications. That is a fact. And some people can utilize tools with therapy without medication. That's also a fact. And so understanding the difference is what we do every day.
Music, I love this because I have friends that go off their medication and they're a mess, and they've realized they got to suck it up. That's probably the wrong word, but they have to take these medicine to live a quality of life. So I love that you said that, because, the medicine's been given deservedly so, these pharmaceutical companies have gotten bad raps for good reasons, but they're not all bad. Like there's good chiropractors and bad chiropractors. It's not all bad across the board.
That's 100%.
I love music because my church talks about music and being emotional and a feeling. Talk more how music works. I love this.
Sure. So, people sometimes, most people don't realize that music's been part of our lives since literally before we were born. The first hearing we have as a fetus is in the mother's womb, and we're hearing the heartbeat. So music has been part of our lives since the beginning, and whatever you determine the beginning could be. In addition, every religion and culture has been using music for thousands of years in all types of different ceremonies and life cycle events. And so what we've done is we don't teach music. We utilize music. 99% of all of our clients are regular people like you and me, or I can't speak for you. I am not musically talented.
I'm not either, so I'm with you. We're good.
At all. The co-founder and one of the ideas behind Recovery Unplugged is a gentleman, Richie Supa, who's an award-winning singer-songwriter for the last 60 years, that toured with Hall & Oates and Aerosmith and wrote 300 hits. And so he's extremely musically talented. He still comes and works with our clients twice a week here in South Florida. Still does a concert every other week for our clients. And some of the songs are hits that he's written, and some of them are recovery based. So we use everything from frequency and vibration during the detox process when somebody's detoxing. Again, we still believe in medicine, but if somebody could get, instead of 10 milligrams of Valium, they get 5 milligrams of Valium, and they get the vibrations from certain frequencies that calms their body scientifically, then everybody wins. And so we take a combination of the medication-assisted treatment and music-assisted treatment in that setting. Further on, when people are through our program, they're utilizing music, everything from lyrics to different songs to melody in their therapy. So we use traditional evidence-based therapy with music as the catalyst for it.
What's interesting is you're talking about music. It's so powerful what you're doing. If I think about when I hear a particular song, it sparks something in my head. Brown Eyed Girl reminds me of my first girlfriend, wife, about that. So this is not out in public, but is kind of what you're saying. Is that when you hear a song?
That's it. I mean, every one of us, right? When you start your day, when you go to the gym, when you're going into a meeting, whatever it may be, right? Music can be a positive or negative trigger. So people have negative triggers, right? We're reminded them of the old girlfriend, or reminded them of somebody that passed away, and that's sad. Or it reminded them of a family member they had a happy memory, or they reminded them of, the moment when they're at, I've been fortunate to go to some big sporting events. I went to the University of Florida. I've been to several national championships. Been to the World Series. I'm a Miami Heat fan. I've been in, the NBA Finals. I've seen the Heat win. I remember the songs that were playing. Right. And I remember, and I associate those to positive, situations. And so one of the things we've done for the last decade is we understand that when somebody's going to come into our physical center, we actually find out the music they love, what they hate, what they associate to sobriety, what they associate to getting high. And so what we'll do is we'll have, when they come in the room, in the intake room, in their room, we'll have a positive song they associate to playing. We won't say anything. We'll just have it on. And we've had over 14,000 people through our program as of last month, in the last decade. And I've seen this thousands of times. They'll say, wait, I love this song. And our therapist or intake, they'll say, yeah, we know. And for the first time in sometimes days, sometimes weeks, sometimes years, that person is seen, heard, and what they say matters subconsciously. And that doesn't mean that they're happy to go to rehab. That doesn't mean that they're going to be the easiest client. But what it does is it's the first layer to break down the defense and to start building that rapport. The number one challenge in people going to treatment, any type of treatment, is that they don't want to be there. They're fighting it.
Yeah.
And so if you get a 28-day program, because that's all the insurance company will allow, and you spend the first 27 fighting to be there, there's a problem. we try to break through within 24 to 48 hours, utilizing music to be able to go into therapy.
One song could do that. That's
Oh, yeah.
amazing. Are there patients that the songs are their medicine? They don't need medicine at all?
So, one of the things that we realized early on is we have musical prescriptions. And what do I mean by that? So, once somebody has completed, our inpatient program and our outpatient program, we'll actually make a list of songs of positive triggers for them. So that in a year from now, when they get into a fight with their spouse, when they get yelled at by their boss, when their kid comes home and, acts like a teenager, instead of their old pattern of running to grab a drink or a drug or getting upset or getting angry, they put on that song. Now, that doesn't solve all the challenges, but what it does remind them is to stay in the present, call their sponsor, go to a meeting, and it brings them that positive trigger back. So we've been doing this now successfully. Started that about 3 years in, and we have a outcome study from Nova Southeastern University on why our outcomes have been so good over the last decade.
That's so powerful. Because I'm thinking, if you need Valium to calm yourself down and you don't have it with you, you're out somewhere, you can just pull up your phone, click Brown Eyed Girl, starts playing. Because am I thinking right that it's so
100%. It
accessible?
is, and again, there is no cure or silver bullet to any of this,
Yeah.
right? It's all about increasing the chances of success. And so we utilize that, right? Where the 3-minute song takes you out of the negative situation, puts a positive trigger in your mind, and allows you to call your therapist, call your sponsor, call the peer support service, whoever it may be. That's the goal. The goal is actual therapy still needs to happen, but that song, that music, takes you out of the negative situation, puts you in a positive situation so that you can continue on from there.
Being proactive instead of just falling back to the original triggers that are causing your problems. So as you're talking, I'm thinking, okay, this is the greatest thing I've heard in a long time. I'm in California, and I talked to somebody, and they've got somebody who needs behavioral health. You don't have a clinic here. Do you do something virtually, or do they fly out, spend 28 days? How's that work?
So we currently have facilities in Austin, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, the DC metro area, South Florida. We're opening in next month in Charleston, South Carolina, and Southern Jersey. And then we have our online intensive outpatient program. So that what we realized after COVID was not everybody could get to us, right? People literally weren't able to fly. So there's amazing, great programs all over the country where somebody could go and detox or spend a 28-day program. But we know, especially with us, that anybody that's living with us is going to be okay when they're with us. Fact, right? A decade, 14,000 people, never had a problem. Where the problem comes in when they go home, right? When they're not 24/7 with us. And that's called real life. And so what we did is we started Recovery Unplugged virtual services and Recovery Unplugged mental health services so that people could come to our outpatient virtually. And we have an intensive outpatient program 3 days a week for 3 hours with individual sessions. And also, again, COVID was horrible, but some positives came out of it because insurance will pay for all of this. And we're in network with every major insurance company. And we recently, as of January 2024, we also have a contract with TRICARE for active military, the VA for veterans, and Medicaid for people there. And so we meet people wherever they're at, and we can help them where they are.
That's huge. I didn't expect you to say that. I expect you, hey, insurance may fly you out, or that is because you got to make
insurance
this
doesn't want to fly you anywhere.
No, so, that's why.
But if they could help, but think about it, right?
Yeah.
Economically, it's a win-win because if somebody could get, the treatment, the acute treatment they need locally, and then get help virtually, on another level, everybody wins.
Yeah, I know that's huge. I'm rarely speechless. This is so cool because it's a problem. It's a silent problem. Talk about that, where people, we were talking about the commercial on the Super Bowl were Tuesday after the Super Bowl, and there's mental health, and you see it. Michael Phelps is one of those guys talking about the apps, but he's mentioning his mental health. Talk about the secret or the silence of that.
So, I would say in 2024, it's leaps and bounds than 2014, right? 10 years ago, I remember people, I'd be in a restaurant and I all of my shirts say Recovery Unplugged, literally my t-shirts, my shirts. I believe in what we do and I'm always wearing it. So people would come up to me and say, "Oh, I heard about what you do." And they'd whisper to me, my sister, my brother, my mother, my father, myself. They'd whisper, "I need help." Now people will scream across the room, "I need help." I mean, it is. I think what happened over the last couple of years is everybody is battling something or has a family member battling something that it's not shameful anymore, right? The stigma for decades was, especially for men, right? Men weren't allowed to have emotion. Men weren't allowed to be upset. And if they did, they're supposed to scream, yell, and break stuff, right? Like that was the portrayal, mostly from TV, of like what men did. And so over the last several years, you've had so many more people speaking out and having trouble. And unfortunately, on the substance abuse, people dying,
Yeah.
that now, people talk about it. They talk about it and the resources are out there. Not all resources are equal, but there are more resources out there, from an adolescent perspective to an adult perspective. And I really think that, the opioid crisis did is it opened up the country to, it didn't matter where you came from. It didn't matter who you were. It didn't matter who your family was. Everybody from every part of this country was affected in one way or another. And so I haven't met a person now that didn't tell me a story about a friend or family member that hadn't been battling over the last several years. So that part's good that we talk about it. We still need, parity. We still need to have coverage, right? You still have the behavioral health industry, unfortunately, up until the last couple of years, and even right now, when you look at your insurance card, this bugged the heck out of me. You had your doctor, and then you had, mental health or behavioral health. It was a separate carve out. It was this other thing. Well, we now know that your mental health is connected to your heart health, is connected to your gut health, and if you're diabetic, right, that can cause depression. More depression can have you become worse as a diabetic. And if the insurance company doesn't want to pay the couple $100 for the therapist, it'll cost them a couple $100,000, when you end up in the hospital. And so I believe over the last two years, really, I've seen a lot from everything conferences I've gone to, is that, the industries, insurance industries finally coming to terms with, okay, we really need to make sure people's mental health is, being taken care of, because it affects their physical health. And real quick on that, there was a company, I forget which one it was, the CEO came out and spoke at a conference, healthcare conference, and it was so great. He said, look, they did a determination that people that were lonely would overeat. And when they overate, it increased diabetes. So they were paying for people that were single and seniors. They were paying for their Uber or Lyft rides, twice a month to visit a friend just to fight loneliness, which would then lower people's A1C and diabetes rates. And they actually had 10,000 people in this study, and this was in the Northeast. I just saw this last year. And that was great to see.
It's powerful. Yeah. And I think, God, you're so right on. You know this stuff because it's more prevalent now than it was 10 years ago. So it's glad people are more open, because it's just, I think that might be part of it too. It's more natural because more people have it. Before it was like the percentages were lower. It's like somebody mentioned mental health, like well, 500 people didn't, either didn't admit it or didn't have it. Like, what, you're the stranger, in that scenario, that community. I'm so glad to hear that.
It's also with the athletes, like you were mentioning, the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Look, athletes and entertainers, whether you believe they're role models or not, everybody's still following them. So the fact that you have so many more people, actors, musicians, entertainers, business people. People are talking about their mental health. People are talking about their struggles. People are talking about dry January. People are talking about getting sober. And so the more that this comes out, the easier it is for everyday people to discuss it, which I think is great.
Yeah, lack of communication is the death of everything, or a big problem. Why is now the best time?
I believe right now is, old quote, funny quote, best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. Second best time is today. And my brother-in-law, he's had that at the bottom of his email since we had email. Okay. And, I've been able to have a front row seat to some of the greatest positive transformations from individuals in my life and people that I've met. I've also seen some real sad situations of people go downhill and refuse to get help in this industry and out. Before I was doing this, I worked with athletes and entertainers 20 years ago in the insurance business, ironically, and I've seen all types of good, bad, and indifferent. And so I tell people every day that, if there's a change you'd like to make, now is the best time. Or the way I would say it, which I learned from Mr. Tony Robbins, is when would now be a good time?
That's a great phrase.
It used to work on my kids, but now they're smarter than me. And my son's been to a couple of Tony Robbins seminars with me, and he's 15. So he now is trying to use it back on us. But at least I know what he's saying.
Yeah. This is an interesting question, and because we call it mental space, but why do you want to go to space and not mental space?
So, for me, I don't know if people are listening or they could see. So I have a picture of Earth from the moon signed by all the people that went to the moon. I've always been fascinated. When my earliest memories was going to see a rocket launch when I was 5 years old at Kennedy Space Center. Uh, and I've just been fascinated with space and the unknown. And I don't want to go there for good. I just want to, stop by and come back. I've been to the edge of the atmosphere once. I rented a MiG 25 about 20 years ago for my birthday in Russia. Flew to the edge of the atmosphere, went Mach 2, broke the sound barrier, didn't pass out, which most people do because you get about almost 5 Gs. And people that saw Top Gun understand that. And so next, I'd love to just get out of the atmosphere for a little bit.
How cool a story is that? I'm a sci-fi space guy too. So when I saw that, I'm like, okay, I can relate with you, Andrew. That MiG, because I'm scared of heights, but I'll be in a plane all day.
Yes. I mean, to me, it's, I've also followed Richard Branson since I was 18 years old. I was fortunate to spend a week with him last year on his island and small group of entrepreneurs from the Maverick group. And, just listening and watching what he did, even though Elon and Blue Origin have surpassed that, he single-handedly, that vision, right? Which is why I love learning about visionaries. And they may not always do exactly what they set out to, but they bring other people along. And Rich really did that with Virgin Galactic.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing about visionaries. Think and you hope there's a spaceship falling right behind you. That's other people because you can't do it by yourself.
No.
Visionary can't do it alone. He's got to have a group or a community to do that. We're running out of time here. What's the future of Recovery Unplugged?
Right now it's being able to help. It took us a little under a decade to get to 10,000, help 10,000 people. And when we started, it was, 20 to 25 people a month in our outpatient center in Fort Lauderdale.
Mm-hmm.
And then that grew and grew and grew to now where we're helping, 400, soon to be 500 people a month. And so, for me, the future is to get from, helping 10,000, now 14,000 people in the first 10 years to 100,000 people, in the next 5 years or more, and being able to reach people where they're at with our virtual program. There's so many people out there that need help, and obviously, if people can get to us or come to us in our locations, we're there. But the future is really online, being able to reach people and show them our methodology and help them with our methodology wherever they are.
Yeah. I like that. And yeah, I like that, man. This is so cool. I love this. Why I love doing podcasts. I get to learn stuff and share with the audience this great stuff. Any final comments about mental health and to the audience?
To me, it's that, everybody, I think at this point, everybody is struggling with something. You're not alone. And there are people out there, there are resources out there. We have a 24-hour life saving center that I staff 24/7, 365. That people that need help can go to recoveryunplugged.com. And if we can't help you, and a lot of times we get calls from all over, we can't help you, we will find a place that will. And so I tell people all the time, they ask me, I've been to all these Tony Robbins events, and I'm always in a positive attitude, but I'm just like everybody else. I have to start my day. I have to fill my brain with information, that I listen to on a daily basis. I have to read. I have to journal every day, because just like everybody else, life is not easy, at least not for me. So I'm, just pushing forward. And that's the key. I think what I like to leave people with is, always moving forward, always pushing forward.
That's so well said. Thank you, Andrew. This has been a blessed show. I appreciate you.
Yes, very much. Thank you for giving me the time to be
Now,
with you.
I'm sure people are going to have questions. How can they reach out to you?
Sure. I'm on LinkedIn. Andrew.Sasson at recoveryunplugged.com. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram now. I think they set me up a TikTok. So somebody needs help, they can call. My goal is to help as many people as possible on a daily basis.
And I'm behind you on that 1,000,000%. So I'll put my effort in to do that. I'll put the information audience in the show notes as well. So you can just click on the link and get access to them. I want to thank you all for listening, especially with this show. What Andrew just told us today, I mean, I've got goosebumps because I know a number of people dealing with this, and he's going to change lives. We say that with our business, but he's truly changing lives and saving lives. And I want to support him by you supporting him. Listen to this show and use the forward and reverse. That's what I love about podcast. There's something you hear, go back 5 minutes, use the time on there and utilize that wonderful tool of a podcast and understand, and then reach out, comment on our YouTube channel or on the podcast, and I'll make sure he gets those comments. I'll pass it on to him and make sure you're connected with them whatever way possible. Because you know what? If we can help one person today, me and Andrew are going to be putting our head on the pillow tonight very comfortably. We want to help many, many more. But again, like I said, I always say if I can help one person, we'd hit gold. Don't forget about my amen, right? See, he's a servant's heart there. My TV show every Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. Together We Serve. It's on Apple TV, Roku, and all those streaming stations. And my podcast, swag, hats, t-shirts, long sleeve, hoodies, anything you want. Let's promote doing business with a servant's heart. I have a new shirt out that says, "Who are you serving today?" I'd love for all of you guys to get that and wear that proudly like I do, because I want people to ask you that question. What do you mean by who you serving? And boom, you can jump right in. It could be faith, it could be help, it could be whatever it may be. But let's talk about that more. And last but not least, I want to thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you at the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. Thank you.